Good morning, children. Welcome back. This is Suman Bhatia, your SS teacher, and today I am going to continue with the chapter in the earliest cities. So, Standard 6 History, chapter number 3. Already we have done the part 1 of the chapter, in which we studied how the Harappan civilization was excavated. We saw which places, that is the Indus Valley civilization, Mohenjo-daro, Dholavira, Lothal, Harappa, Kalibangan, these all places we saw on the map of the Indian subcontinent. We also saw the Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. We saw the houses, drains and streets of the Harappan civilization. So now, coming forward to the topics, now we are going to see the life in the city of Harappa. So let's move to the Harappan cities and the life of the people in the Harappan cities. Life in the city. So if you see here, the Harappan city was a very busy place. There were people who planned the construction of special buildings in the cities. And what were the special buildings? Assembly halls, granaries, fire altars, all such were the special buildings, great bath. So there were special buildings in the city, and these were planned, by the rulers. The rulers sent people to far away places to get metals, precious stones and other things what they wanted. So people traveled long distant places to get the things for the construction of these special buildings and for the requirements of the rulers. They kept, when the people brought up the things, the rich people, the rulers, they kept the most valuable objects such as gold and silver, beautiful beads for themselves, and they used for their own purpose. Now there were scribes. Now already we have studied the meaning of scribe. Scribe are the people who have the knowledge how to write. And these people, the scribes, they prepared different kinds of seals. Already in the first video I have showed you the seals that were rectangular and square in shape and they had animal inscriptions on them. So these seals were written on the materials of stones and mud and other things which didn't survive till now. Now along with this, there were men and women who were called as craft persons. These craft persons, they were the people who were making all kinds of things like seals, beads, ornaments and other things, handicraft items which were required. They were working from their home or they were working in a workshop. People were traveling long distant land and returning with the raw materials required for this craft work. Then you can see some examples of these stones. You can see the beads here. So these were made from the raw materials that were brought by the people from very long distance. Terracotta toys have been found which children may be used for playing at that time. So many such handicraft items have been discovered during this Harappan civilization. Now here on the screen you can see stone weights. The stone weights are not made out of normal stones. They are carefully and precisely cut into proper shape, and they are made of a special kind of stone. Its name is chert. And they were used for weighing specially precious stones and metals. They were used for weighing the special metals and special stones. Now you can see here these stone weights of different sizes and different weights. Here the next is beads. Beads were used for making ornaments. Many of these were made out of carnelian, a beautiful red stone. The stone was cut and shaped, polished, and finally it was woven in a string to be used in this form. Next is stone blades. During the Paleolithic age, we all know people were using tools made out of stones. But here you can see the stone weapons are now sharply carved and they are parallel in size like blades. So this is one of the great advancement in the technology of weapons used by the Harappan people. They were using stone blades that is sharp from both the sides and parallel in shape. Now, these people of the Harappan people, they were having knowledge of doing embroidery on the clothes. How do we come to know about this thing? We come to know about this thing because a stone statue of a special man was found at Mohenjo-daro, and he was wearing a garment that has embroidery of flowers on the garment. So I will show you the picture. So see, if you see this statue, this is a stone statue found in the excavation at Mohenjo-daro, and if you see the clothes of this man, what clothes this man is wearing, they are flower designs on the cloth. So this shows that the people of the Harappan civilization had knowledge about embroidery and designs. Also from the statue you can see the statue is so well carved. Every beard lining, eyes, hairs, everything is clearly marked. So the people were very good in art. They had knowledge of sculpturing statues and they were very good in such things. Now, cotton. Cotton was probably grown at Megarh from about 7,000 years ago. Now, how do we come to know about that cotton was used 7,000 years ago? Because actual pieces of clothes were found attached to the lid of a silver vase and some copper objects at Mohenjo-daro. When the archaeologists excavated, they also found spindle whore, that were made of terracotta and faience. Now, terracotta is a kind of material from which the toys and other things were made. Now, what faience we are going to study in the coming topic. Now, this faience, see, these are the terracotta toys. These are the toys the children were using during the Harappan time. Here are a few more examples of the toys. You can see the bullocks and other things. So, what is faience? Unlike stone or shell, this is a naturally found material. Stone and shells are found naturally, but this faience is not a natural material. It is produced artificially. Faience is a artificial produced material. A gum was used to shape sand or powdered quartz into an object. So gum was used for shaping this sand, making into a special shape of toys and other things. The objects, when they glared, resulting into shiny glassy surface. So when these objects were made, they were put on fire and finally this glassy surface came. The color of the glaze was usually blue or sea green, and because of this faience was used to make beads, bangles, colorful bangles, earrings and tiny vessels. So this was an artificially produced material. A gum was used for joining and shaping the objects. Later on they were glazed, shaped, and then after glazing, what happened? This color, the blue, light blue color or greenish color came on that object and it had a glassy look. This is called faience. They were used to spin thread. So archaeologists found spindle whorls and toys made of terracotta and faience, and they were used for spinning the thread. So just like the spinning wheel, charkha, some spindle whorls and toys of terracotta and methods were found. They show that spinning wheels were used at that time. Many of the things that were produced were probably the work of specialists. So most of the things that we found in the Harappan time are indicating that they were made by special people, specialists. Now, what is a specialist? A specialist is a person who is trained well to do a special kind of thing, like cutting stone, polishing the bead, or carving the seals. So, not everybody could have been a specialist. Every person cannot become a specialist. So, we don't know that men were specialists or only females were also specialists, but probably some men and women were specialists, and that is why I told you the statue. We were talking so beautifully, details were carved on the statue. So, we can say that this is the work of a very specialized person. Now, when we want to make cloth, we want to make beads, we want to make ornaments, we want to make gold ornaments, we want to make seals. So what happens? Raw materials are required for each and everything. So raw materials, in search of raw materials, from where did these people get the raw material? Let's see. So raw materials are substances that are either found naturally in the nature, such as wood, minerals, ores, or produced by the farmers in the field, like cotton, or some things from the animals. So these are often processed to make the produced or finished goods. So the raw material are the basic requirement for production of goods. For example, cotton, they are produced by the farmers as a raw material in the field, and later on this cotton is processed to form cloth. While some of the raw materials the Harappans used were locally available, but many of the things the Harappans were using, such as copper, tin, gold, silver, precious stones like cherts and other things, so they have to be brought from very distant places. They were not available in local markets or local places. The Harappans got the copper from Rajasthan area and even from Oman in West Asia. So basically copper was brought traveling from a long distance from Rajasthan and Oman, that is in West Asia, and Rajasthan in India. Tin was mixed with this copper. So tin was mixed with this copper ore to produce bronze, and that tin was brought from Afghanistan and Iran. Gold that have come during that time was most probably brought from Karnataka, and precious stones from present day Gujarat, Iran and Afghanistan. So many things are brought from long distances and from different places of the Indian subcontinent. Here you can see a toy, a terracotta toy, where you can see a shape of a bullock cart. So probably that time when people were traveling so long distances, they might be walking on their foot, or they may be using such bullock carts for their convenience. Now we all know agriculture was being done during that time, because wheat, barley, maize, linseed, sesame, cotton and many other things were cultivated by the people at that time. So let's see what was the food of the people in the city of Harappa. While many people believed in the cities, and they lived in the city, others were living in the countryside, in the villages. And the people living in the villages, they grew the crops, they kept and domesticated the animals. They grew the crops for their use, and the city people were totally dependent on the food produced by these farmers. These farmers and herders supplied the food to the craft person, the scribes and the rulers in the cities. Today also the same thing is happening. Farmers are working in the rural areas, and we people living in the city, we are getting our food from the shops, and that food in the shop comes from the field of the farmers. So we all know from remains of the plants that the Harappan grew wheat, barley, pulses, peas, rice, sesame, linseed and mustard. Now, for the convenience of ploughing, For the convenience of doing agriculture, these Harappan people used a new design of the tool, and that tool was called plough. Today also we use plough or the most modern technology called tractors for ploughing and digging the earth, for turning the soil and planting the seeds. So during that time, plough was developed. A new tool called plough was developed. The real plough that was made of wood at that time did not survive, but we have found a toy model for that plough. I will show you the picture of the plough here. See, this is a toy model of the plough that was used for loosening the soil at the time of the Harappan civilization and for the purpose of agriculture. As this region did not receive heavy rainfall, irrigation facility was very much necessary. So irrigation, what is the meaning of irrigation? Storing water in a reservoir, in a tank, in a pond, and then supplying to the field whenever necessary. This means water was stored and supplied to the fields when the plants were needing water. This was the method of irrigation used by the Harappan people. So well planned technology they were using. They were knowing that water is necessary for the crops. So they were storing the water and using it whenever necessary. The Harappan people reared cattle, sheep, goat and buffalo. Water and pastures were available around the settlement, and they were stored in the tanks. Waters were stored in the tanks, and pasture lands were grown nearby. So however, in the dry summer months, large herds of animals were taken to greater distance in search of grass and water. In the rainy season or in the winter season, water and grass was easily available nearby, but during the hot summer season, when the grasses dry up and the water in the reservoirs become very less, so people have to take their cattle to a very far distance for near the river bodies, or for on the banks of the rivers for grazing. So while going there, they collected fruits like bear, they did fishing, they hunted wild animals like antelopes. So this was the food of the people. What? Wheat, barley, pulses, peas, rice, sesame, linseed and mustard. Along with that, they kept sheep, goat, buffalo, which used to give them milk. Also, they collected fruits like bear, they did fishing, and they did hunting of wild animals like antelope. So students, this is all for today. Hope you all have understood. Thank you for watching the video, and we will come with the next topic very soon.